Hello, and thanks for joining us. I'm Mel Showers.
And I'm Jessica Taloni, in tonight for Roseanne Haven. First on 5, still many unanswered questions as a new clue surfaces in a weekend murder in Grand Bay. A Theodore man charged with raping a 14-year-old girl pleaded not guilty in Mobile District Court today. Jack Manch was charged with second-degree rape earlier this month. The girl's mother told News 5 her daughter has been traumatized by the incident. She says Manch gave the girls pills and alcohol and then raped her. Now investigators with the Mobile Sheriff's Department have broadened their investigation. A department spokesperson says anyone with information is urged to contact the sheriff's office. Manch is currently out of jail on a $7,500 bond. If convicted of the rape charge, he could be sent to prison for 2 to 20 years. Well, tomorrow is April 15th, and that means federal and state taxes are now due.
If you've already filed and you're worried about getting your Alabama state refund, don't be. Your check is in the mail or will be soon. And News 5's Keisha Payton joins us here in our studio with more.
That is good news. Let's hope they follow through with that.
Thank you very much, Keisha.
Well, you may be able to get an extension from the IRS, but you will not be getting one from the post office tomorrow. In years past, at least one post office in the Mobile area has stayed open late to handle last-minute tax returns on April 15th. But that will not be happening this year. You will have to get your return in the mail by your office's normal closing hours.
Well, a piece of living history is now open for business.
The Hank Aaron Home and Museum will give baseball fans an inside look at the Hall of Famer's life. News
5 has team coverage of today's unveiling. Sports director Randy Patrick joins us live from Hank Aaron Stadium, where he's been mixing it up with some big-time baseball.
Having a good time out there.
Randy.
With news for Fruitdale, Foley, and Fort Walton Beach.
You're watching News 5 at 6.
News 5's Jessica Taloni is live at USA Medical Center, where the injured workers were transported. Jessica, any word on their conditions?
Well, good news coming from the hospital this morning. 5 of those workers who were rushed here to USA Medical Center have now been treated and released. We got that word within the last half hour from a hospital spokesperson. Now, he could not give us their names or tell us what kind of injuries they were treated for, but there is still a 6th worker who is here at USA in the burn center still seeking treatment. Now, we've gotten some pictures of that fire on the oil platform. Here's a look. This picture looks like perhaps it was taken from the window of a helicopter. Now, we are still waiting on word to find out what caused this explosion. But this morning, our affiliate in New Orleans caught up with the president of Plaquemines Parish. That's the parish that is closest to where this oil rig is located. He talked briefly about what's next for recovering the rig itself.
The size of this rig is incredible, so it's going to be a massive recovery, or trying to recover that or get it back right-sided up. I'm sure the company will be out there to clean up any of the environmental problems.
Now, a hotline has been set up for anyone who thinks they might have friends or family that were on that rig and want to know their condition. That phone number is 832-587-8554. That is a hotline for anyone who wants information about someone who may or may not have been on that rig. We'll continue to keep the story updated from USA Medical Center and that 6th worker who remains here being treated. Reporting live at USA, Jessica Taloni, News 5.
News 5's Jessica Taloni was inside the meeting. Jessica, a lot of ideas on the table, but do we have any idea what the city's next move will be?
Well, the thing, Roseanne, is that those ideas that are on the table are the same ideas the council and the mayor have been kicking around for weeks, but they say everything is still up for consideration, including ideas they've already rejected, like a pay cut for city employees and that 1% sales tax. Now, the hope now among council members that we've talked to is that they're somehow going to come up with a hodgepodge of ideas to be the solution, that it probably will not be just one fix. But for now, that leaves many city workers and the council very frustrated.
Mr. Mayor, you want to get this passed, you need a solution. I would suggest that you help and work with us.
Tension is undeniably high. Even before city council members convened their regular meeting, council member William Carroll was already on the attack in the pre-council meeting.
The leadership needs to come from somewhere, Mr. President. If you can't do it, I'll be glad to call a meeting without your permission.
In a nearly packed city auditorium, Carroll, who abstained in last week's tax hike vote, continued lashing out, this time directing his comments at the crowd of city workers.
If there was to be a pay cut in this city and half of you get mad and go home, there's 10 other people out there that want to doggone come in and fill your spot because they're not working.
Carroll's remarks drew grumbles from the audience, with one man even standing up and turning his back to the council.
I have worked for a substandard pay for 33 years.
A handful of police officers, including a deputy chief, then spoke at the podium, each asking the council to reconsider that 1-cent sales tax hike to save their jobs.
The only people that claimed victory last week were the prisoners and the thugs that are waiting for y'all to hand them the key to this city.
So the next step in all of this is for the council's finance committee to meet on Thursday. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. They say they're going to sit down. They're going to figure out what 5 of the 7 council members can agree on. That's how many votes it would need to pass. And hopefully they'll come up with that solution on Thursday and we can put an end to this crisis. Reporting live in downtown Mobile, Jessica Taloni, News 5. Well, 200 barrels of oil is about 9,000 gallons. That is much less than many people initially feared was going to spill into the Gulf. Nonetheless, the U.S. Coast Guard has put states along the Gulf Coast on alert for the potential for contamination. But a scientist we talked to from the Dauphin Island Sea Lab tells us that is very unlikely that oil would reach Alabama's shore. The Coast Guard dropped 1,900 gallons of a dispersant, a chemical to break down the oil to its natural elements. And in this picture, you see just a small portion of 1 million feet of open ocean boom being used to contain it.
There's all kinds of these little eddies and loop currents that spin these currents, sometimes in a totally opposite direction. And that's why everybody's nervous and very concerned. But professionally, I believe that, these people, the Coast Guard and Oil Response Task Force, they know what they're doing.
Now, the biggest concern for marine scientists is protecting the wildlife that could be impacted by the oil spill. The Sea Lab's senior marine scientist tells us the Coast Guard is aware of the critical habitats.